extra damage now going in. Oscarinin needs to get out. Scrap shield, what's the cooldown left? Finally gonna get a little bit of health back, trying to get away from him. He torches it down, it's the edge! Targamas running.
Humanoid has flash.
Flash, forward, volley, gets him.
I'm behind TP, Lombolus TP. Behind. There is no flash, no flash boost, no flash boost. Good job, no flash.
She's losing the tags, by the way. Let him tank it, Lombo note. She lost tags.
I'm low.
I got it. Oh my god,
Yike.
And welcome back to Berlin, where the night is dark and full of terrors, especially if you're a Fnatic fan. If you're a KC fan, on the other hand, the sky has never been more clear and blue. Guys, this second game, any first impressions on how it went?
Fnatic finally didn't get away with it. They went towards the late game and they didn't win. It's obviously a heartbreaker for them. They've gone through situations like that before, but this time it doesn't turn out in their favor. Kind of unexpectedly from playoffs.
Yeah, but the issue, though, is that it's always the same thing, I feel. It's always the same critics for Fnatic Fin. It's always the same mistakes and often around objectives. And I want us to look at this first fight here around the Drake. What were these decisions? How do you explain this? Were they missing some information, or are they just getting carried away again?
Here I was just really frustrated. Humanoid just walking in. He has no reason to walk in here. There's very dark river and his team is coming to help him. His team is rotating up to help him walk into this river, but he's just getting caught right before they arrive. And then Fnatic suddenly decides, okay, we lost our mid laner, we're gonna fight anyway. And it just becomes this really clear washout from the Fnatic team. It's just an easy fight from KC, just because Fnatic were so adamant about fighting this because they were ahead 2k gold at this stage. But without your mid laner, doesn't matter how ahead you are in gold, you're still gonna be losing that fight.
And I also really, on the other side of that, really want to praise the way that KC picked up that mistake as well. Vladi, you'll notice in that clip, actually stepped into the Nautilus ult to make sure he could keep walking forwards and keep fighting. So it's a mix of both sides. There is definitely an opening being shown, but it is also being exploited well on the other side.
And I really like the way, again, where KC is playing around those fights. And I know that against G2 last week, they did not leave them any opportunities to be in this situation. But it feels like whenever teams are going to leave opportunities for KC to pick up good fights and good opportunities, they're going to seize them no matter what. Atakan was one of them. But I feel like Atakan has been an issue for Fnatic all splits. Yet again. But again, I really want to praise the opportunity from KC here.
Oh yes. And I don't know how Yike always gets these smites against Calistas and enemy junglers. Here if you actually listen to the voice comms, actually Targamas was saying in the voice comms, she's losing stacks, She lost stacks, and then Yike walks up and gets this smite. Big kudos to the Swedish jungler of KC, and big kudos to KC in general for pouncing on this mistake. But Fnatic, how are you still doing this? This was what they were doing in week 3. They were losing these Atakans, and now we're in playoffs. It's the final week. We have to sort these things out.
Shout out to the man, the Greek man in the mid lane here on the side of KC, because if you have been following the LEC for the past couple of weeks, we've been hinting the fact that, guys, Vladi is doing good. We haven't been talking enough about Vladi. Can we please finally talk about Vladi? He's doing God's work here in the... Look at this!
Oh my god, man. That's insane. That's a whole lot of good stats.
Look at that DPM, by the way.
This is surreal to me. A couple of years ago, I was casting this guy when he was in NLC on Dusty, and he won that league. He was doing that while he was bicycling to a net cafe to play in the ERLs. That was in 2022. He is now here, kicking butt on the LEC stage, using his health bar as a resource, stepping into Nautilus ult, and walking out of a game like that with one death. How do you do that? Incredible stuff.
And I always think about this guy because 2023 in the offseason, I was actually scrimming with him every single day in the offseason. Everyone is on vacation. He was still grinding those games. I'm standing here casting now, but he's standing on this massive stage and just showing how hard he has worked and how long it has taken for him to get to this point. He's never stopped working, and I think this is just pure talent being really, really defined into this massive performance by him today.
I completely agree. He keeps on improving week after week, game after game. It's absolutely phenomenal from him. On the other side, I can only be critical towards Fnatic right now, on the verge of getting eliminated. And when I look at the expectations at the beginning of the season, when I look at their regular season, when I look at the caliber of this roster, I cannot believe that playoffs may end like this for them.
Now I'm just very sad because we really expect more from Fnatic, and we need to see more from them because they have shown time and time and again that they will get caught in the mid game and they will fluster a goal lead. They were in control of this game. They had a 2k goal lead with a comp they were very comfortable with.
Oh, that is a valley.
And we really, really, really want them to step up in this game for you because I believe in Fnatic. They have great individuals, they have great talent, they have a great coaching staff, and they really have the potential to win the split. But we need to see them finally live up to their potential.
I want you guys to give some words of encouragement to the fans, to the despair of the fans that we see right now in this game where Fnatic chose red side. I plan a counter pick for them. That's the hope I have when I see this. So last game, potentially for them. What do we want to see to stop seeing those sad faces here? We do not want this in the LEC.
Yeah, it is all empathy towards the fans, but you know there are a bunch of incredibly talented players on this roster. They have showed incredibly high highs. They have one last chance to get it together for this game against a rampant KC.
Yeah, but really like coming into this draft, Fnatic shows red side because they have something prepared. They don't want to go blue side and just first pick the most standard champion. They have something prepared, and this needs to be their ace in the whole, no, what do you say? The Trump ace?
Yeah.
I don't know what you call it anymore. I don't speak English.
Casters do, maybe. Guys, take it away for this third game. Who do you think is going to take it? And can Fnatic come back?
It's a trump card.
It's a Trump.
It's a trump card? Okay.
I like ace in the trump, personally. Ace in the trump hole, ace in the card. I'm just trying to think of all the different ways you could mess that saying up, but shout out to Finn. He has
Shout out to Finn. He
has like so good about learning new English words that I've never heard before, because he does this one new word a day. He's like, have you heard of this word? And I was like, no, Finn, no one who speaks the English language has ever once said that word.
I saw this TikTok a while ago of some guys like, your friend who learns a new word, it's like, it's all about the dichotomy of it all. And that's what Finn feels like every so often.
I can think of a number of people on our broadcast who might be guilty of that particular one, myself included.
Sorry. Wow.
Oh, wow, that's crazy.
Sorry.
He's not even here, Rob. You can't do that.
That's why I kick him when he's away.
Hell yeah. Now he can't fight back. That's what it's all about. And speaking of not fighting back, we'll have to see if Fnatic can mount a defense here. It's looking a little bit grim. Again, I think the montage of sad Fnatic fan faces was a bit merciless, but probably justified given how one-sided this series has been. Fnatic, we'll see if they want to keep that same breakneck pace and what red side means for them. An odd choice, their choice of side. They've opted to go red. What will that entail?
Yeah, our analysts touched on it, and I'm very curious to see if they have cooked something up for us. Red side for me always either means you're going for either support counterpick, mid counterpick, or top counterpick. So I want to see one of those roles have a strong counterpick that maybe is a champion that we haven't seen so much in the LEC as we're going into this fearless Game 3.
I feel like it's cooking up something for Oscarinin because I think he has been the most consistent at finding moments to bring Fnatic back into a game. And I haven't really seen enough from Humanoid's champion pool to think, hey, he's got something cooking in the background. So I am curious to see exactly what the plan is. Is Draven going to be taken off the board here for Fnatic? Skarner gone as well. Xayah, the other big jungler in my eyes, to kind of look for as we start to move into Game 3s there. It's gone because it does open up things like the Yone in the mid lane.
And it's also the Lulu ban, actually. They're kind of scared of the Sivir Lulu that we saw yesterday, or maybe a Zeri Lulu for upset. And overall, I'm curious to see what will KC look to first pick here, as there's not really any power picks left.
And support pool is going to be really interesting, right? With Lulu banned away, with the majority of engaged supports taken off the board, there's things like Braum, there's things like Alistar, but this is usually the point in the series where we start to see some more ranged supports rise to the surface. But there is the Pantheon first pick. Can be a flex. We've seen it most successful in jungle thus far, and especially in the hands of Skewmon. Yike looking to replicate some of that.
Yeah, this Pantheon pick in the hands of Skewmon. Oh, it's an instant Rakan answer here. They were prepared for this Pantheon pick. I'm curious to see if Yike will be able to pilot it like the new G2 jungler Skewmon. I like the Rakan. It's already good into the Pantheon. Curious to see if they'll match it up with a hyper carry for KC or a ranged ADC that will look to poke. Yeah,
we see a lot of the Jinxes come out as we start to move into this. I haven't been the biggest fan of Jinx without an Enchanter beside her, so I kind of want to see if they hold off on that for a little bit. Looks like Vladi going to go back towards what has been a very comfortable pick for him, though, in the Viktor. Now, is Canna going to go for a bit of a blind on the top side, or are they just going to go for that AD straight away?
And this would be the same strategy that they brought out in Game 1, right? Triple topside selection, letting bot lane go down further in the draft. Downside here is we're much deeper into Fearless. The options for bot lane are significantly more limited.
Except when you have a Senna player on your team. So Targamas can definitely always opt in towards Senna Nila, Senna Yasuo. We've seen a lot of these opposite picks, or alternative picks, I should say, that didn't find the best success first time around, but definitely something that they have played a lot.
Jack, we're going to play a quick game. I'm going to list champions I want to see people play, and you're going to tell me if they're good in the Xayah Rakan.
Okay.
Neela.
Pretty bad.
Okay.
That's it. That's all I want to know.
Pretty bad.
Okay.
Xayah's good into like low range.
No, yeah, I'm just trying to, like, I'm second guessing my knowledge. I'm letting you be the expert here. Okay, that's all I've got. I'm going to be honest. At this point, I'm starting to think that there's no hope for anything that I think is fun.
I think Jinx or Jhin or something longer range is most likely. Caitlyn could be that option. Yeah, Caitlyn Lux could be something, but then you have a very hard to execute team comp, since you don't have really much reliable CC apart from the Pantheon W. I do think they'll probably just go for something a little bit more standard like the Jinx plus just an engage support. That's at least what I'm predicting here.
Yeah.
Did you actually take away the kid?
All right, so respect to the range threat there. Trap setup as well would be nice to have. Obviously the Viktor plus the trap just could be infinite CC on one of those single targets if you're able to find it. Gnar as well, just relatively flexible.
And 2 mid lane bans here, so Humanoid is going to have to dig deep. Curious to see what he has into this Viktor.
I mean, normally, like, I guess Corki at this point, but you cannot pick Corki with this much AT on your team.
And like, I'm trying to think of AP top laners Oscarinin could bring it. Like, the Gwen is probably the only one, but if you are going towards the Corki, you're basically signaling to everyone that you're going to go towards the AP top. So, going to be the Ornn for the moment, and we'll have to wait and see.
Wow, the Ornn into the Gnar here. It's quite strange, as Gnar is really good into these tanks, but they might choose to opt for the Zeri here. That's another good hyper carry option, and you do kind of need mobility up against this Wukong or Rakan.
Yeah, enough movement speed from the Zeri as well just makes it so easy to get around that call with the Forge God. It makes it less reliable upfront CC. Gnar, though, you mentioned it, relatively flexible matchup. Maybe just the swap is going to be what happens here with the Ornn.
For the Braum as well. Just to counteract the Ornn, counteract a lot of the engages there. It's not great into the 2v2, but it's still, I think if you can go for the swaps, it's just so much value later on in the game.
I think the big struggle will be here outside of the Pantheon. There's no reliable, instantaneous start the fight button on the side of KC, which can be a problem. Yes, Gnar ult is good, but it's so telegraphed. It requires that flank. So is that something they want to go for? Or do they want to go for the Braum, which is incredibly strong?
I was going to say, I really wanted an Enchanter. I was going to say Yuumi, but I'm glad they didn't end up opting for that. But the Zilean here is actually great. It's really good into... I like this draft.
This is something that Humanoid has been spamming a lot in solo queue. I didn't think we'd get to see it here today because I didn't think it would have an opportunity, but against this composition from KC, there's not a huge amount of backline threat, and you can get a lot of this stacking off in the early stages.
Yeah, I really like both of these last picks coming in here. The Zilean is great at stopping the engage from Razork and Mikyx, and being able to ulti whoever you want on the KC lineup makes it that much more difficult to dive in. But at the same time, now with the last pick of the Aurelion Sol, Humanoid can just take more of a backline profile and just say, no, we can just front to back it. I deal way more damage than Viktor towards the later stages of the game, and I scale infinitely.
It will be interesting to see how well Caliste can play with the massive movement speed steroid that Zilean can offer. And, I mean, Fnatic, right, as we get later into the game, they have so much AoE CC that normally we see Zilean into these single target pick focus comps because you can reset the fight, eat that initial engage. Maybe it feels a little bit differently here. See what value can be brought out from the side of KC. No jinxes yet from Sjokz. We haven't gotten that far yet. It didn't start with success. It started with 2 losses. Fnatic fans hoping that their team can turn it around here. Match point for KC. The pressure is on. KC fans unfazed, faith in their team to bring it home here.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how this bot lane matchup will play out. I think if there was a game to swap, it probably would be this one, as you have a hard matchup with the Ornn into Gnar, and I think the Xayah Rakan has more pressure, like to dive the Gnar than the Zeri Zilean have against the Ornn. I'm also very surprised here. Caliste went cleanse in this game, and there's only really the Rakan ulti charm that he can cleanse. I don't really love the decision.
From the Aurelion Sol ult.
Yeah, and the roots from Xayah, but it's like, they're pretty low threats.
I mean, you got the heal. I guess he's just going for the most defensive options that he can, knowing that late game it's his job to kind of carry, to bring that damage profile.
A little bit of...
I'm curious how Caliste plays these late game fights, because the big highlight is still very little CC on KC's side. So it's going to be Speedy Boy versus the world. It feels
Also,
like
just
in this one.
the circle gets really big. Really big on the Aurelion Sol. And like, how are you going to get on
miss
top?
with that circle, you have the Razork circle, and then you got the Venn diagram
circle.
through the
You got the
middle.
Rakan W circle.
Yeah, exactly.
The Zilean bomb circles.
Yeah,
the
it just-
Viktor ult circles.
I think this is a very difficult game for Caliste to play if he wants to try and be that big carry because of that lack of CC. So I nearly feel like he has to play assassination mode, but it doesn't really help with the amount of CC that's available for Fnatic. So as long as KC don't get off to a massive start, I feel like Fnatic can take a slower pace and hope for a slower pace game, and they can carry it through.
And it is actually going to be the KC side swapping here. I'm curious if they either thought they tried to predict the swap, or if it's just because the early laning phase of the Zilean is very weak. And I do think Canna here will suffer a lot more than Oscarinin will, but Mikyz takes a tower shot.
Yeah, I think the fact that you have taken that much damage off of Canna is a bit of a disaster here for KC, because the monkey can start to move its way down, you can look for a potential dive, and that's why you can already see Targamas stopping, shifting back down towards this bottom side just to cover for Canna in case something happens.
I think Oscar is chilling pretty hard here, 1v1 against the Zeri. Should be able to just farm up nicely with the Q start.
Mikyz going in, Gleaming Coil doesn't hit. Nice sidestep from Canna. No threat of the dive quite yet as Targamas starts to make his way down. You highlighted it earlier though, level 1 from Zilean really just not threatening. So Root does hit, Ignite hits as well. Canna going to be forced back.
The heal is still available for Targamas, so Canna should be able to stick around for a while. We'll hit the level 2 as well as he starts to get up towards that Mega Gnar form, so I think he should be fine in the play. They still don't know where Razork is, which is why KC just trying to spot out what the hell is going on.
First bomb used, second bomb used. Mikyz going to dash out. Just poking, just threatening, really jailing these two members under this tower, not really giving them any other way to get out.
And now KC have to look for the reset. They know that they're just so vulnerable underneath this tower, so Caliste going to move down towards the bottom side, but it's going to be the reset on the opposite side. Actually, no, Targamas!
Flash out. Targamas, hungry to cancel some resets. Does stop them from resetting, but obviously has to burn his own flash in the process.
It's not the end of the world though. Oscarinin bets to tick over to level 4. He's going to be fine in the matchup against Canna, so he can crash this wave, you can push in this bot wave, and then Fnatic just go for a slightly later reset on both these waves, so they can still opt out of these matchups. The only person I'm keeping my eyes on is Yike to maybe see if he wants to try and punish or take a bite out of Oscarinin in this top side as he looks to push in this wave, but okay, upset. I'm actually playing a little bit back. Razork will be spotted on this ward here.
Targamas does not flash.
Caught out.
I think
Targamas
it's
locked in for a moment, a little bit extra movement speed. The Razork now going in, big initial damage, lock up there, trying to finish the kill on Mikyz. The bomb will pop, but it will not be enough to get it done as Razork takes a chunk out of Caliste as well. Caliste trying to get as much damage done as he can, knowing that there could be a dive coming.
Great start from Fnatic. They play immediately on the bottom side. Caliste actually looking for Mikyz. Oh, early!
The bait! Flash forward from Bumsek, can he finish the kill?
No. Misses the Q.
Okay, well.
what was that reaction?
It was kind of just, you know, it feels good when you flash in and it doesn't work, and then the enemy flashes in and it doesn't work. Because it's kind of just like a handshake on, like, if it was just me, it'd be embarrassing, but we went out together.
That's true. It's going to be very equal CS on both ADCs, but Upset coming in with the first blood.
And this is where I think you're in a position as Fnatic though to try and continue with this pressure, right? Upset already off to a great start. He's got the boots completed. He's going to be able to keep this wave, push in a bot and unlock Mikyz to play towards mid. And if Vladi isn't really able to keep control over Humanoid, he can get towards a level 6, really become a nuisance in these fights. So I think that's where you can see Mikyz, especially Dragon spawning, now starting to try and take over control of River.
And I think the support battle here is just a big talking point, right? Because both teams have gotten a lot of value in their big moments from their respective side, Mikyz and Targamas. But Mikyz, definitely more tools, more obvious impact on a champion like Rakan. Zilean can be that pick. We'll have to see if it comes through. As a bit of trading on the top side, Canna definitely winning out here as Oscarin's forced to Searing Charge back. Good sidestep on the house. Means his life bar will be relatively intact.
Still though, you can see that Oscarinin has that TP available, so he can just look for the reset and TP back in a great spot on that top side. So shouldn't be too much of an issue for Fnatic if they want to. I think the only reason he's sticking around is maybe a late reset if they look towards a potential dragon with Razork on this bottom side.
For now though,
pretty equal for Fnatic here. I don't think they can really look for the dive, but they might actually look for it. There's no sums on Targamas and no flash on Caliste.
Only cleanse on Caliste, not going to do too much work here on the initial play. A nice dash back out. Mikyz needs to be careful not to get by the double bomb, and he'll make it work. Caliste taken down. Targamas can't do anything, and this is the struggle of the Zilean. This is a champion that's so greedy because it does so little early game, but it will have an impact late, but they might not get there.
And it's a disaster for KC. I'm surprised it's so rare these days that you see an early tower dive, as towers have just been so buffed now, but it's brilliantly played. Mikyz starts with taking the aggro, and then he drops it with the Rakan, and it just ends up being... Oh!
Flash in, Targamas no flash, should be the route to follow up, can't quite get the angle, might not matter, movement speed not enough. 6 minutes in, Fnatic already have the feat of warfare.
They caught the Zilean. Targamas went that little bit too far forward, and it's just an absolute disaster. Now Yike kind of see what he can do, but spotted immediately by Fnatic. This bot lane has gone from bad to worse for KC.
Yeah, just Fnatic bot lane now being able to get this Drake. They can catch this bot wave and probably reset for the grubs, although it might just be given over. And now we get a replay of this tower dive. You can see, like, even though Caliste doesn't play it bad, he eased the Rakan W, but there's nothing he can do. Mikyz is at the edge of tower, and he doesn't even need to drop the aggro, because at that point, Caliste's already dead.
It's also a nice job from Upset there, right? He was like, look, I'm not going to use the pullback on the feathers because I know he has cleanse. Either I murder him with auto attacks, or he cleanses the ignite and tries to survive that a little bit longer, and then he goes for the extra damage. But Targamas trying to cancel the resets. Very greedy, yeah. Just ends up going down, thinks he's got enough in the movement speed, but Mikyz catches him.
800 gold lead for the Xayah, already level 6. This is going to be so hard for them to play. Canna is keeping pressure on the top side. Maybe that is the glimmer of hope for KC in this early game, but a 1.6k gold lead before 8 minutes. Very difficult for KC to navigate, is looking to cancel some backs here. Caliste still playing with confidence despite some of the earlier plays.
Yeah, still all they want is Mikyz to start the reset, so Upset can now join him. Of course, the very nice thing about the Xayah Rakan, Targamas going to try and stop it.
Yeah, they
it's
really
a little bit
want
too
to cancel
late.
these bases.
Yeah.
But Fnatic also really want to back in that spot. Like, they are not willing to recall anywhere else. That is their
Are you surprised by Fnatic's stubbornness now? After what we've seen
Again,
this
I'm still not convinced they can back up. They're just very good at going forward. That's what we've learned. Or at least very persistent at going forward.
Yeah.
I do want to say, though, level 6 is when this Zeri really comes online. And she is down quite a decent amount, but she still has this huge power spike with the level 6, able to kind of get this one-shot burst. Now Upset actually has to hold the wave here. I like this a lot. She's able to freeze it and will deny one wave from the Zeri and just build the CS up, lead up a bit bigger.
Good to have. Every little bit counts, and we've seen from Fnatic, even when they've had those leads, right, they still haven't always been able to play it clean, to close it out with confidence. Just holding on to whatever advantages they can get early on. As Mikyz caught out for a moment, Targamas looking to follow up with double bombs, but Mikyz already using the entrance to make an exit.
I like what Miky's trying to do here, though. Get that vision in deep on towards KC's bot side, because Yike having that ultimate available makes it very difficult to play around this bottom side and try and play towards your strengths. So knowing now that KC at least should have Yike moving towards the top side helps, but Razork is, for the moment, getting a lot of issues in his jungle as KC refused to give up the blue.
It is a little bit scary, right? Yike with the point-and-click CC. Targamas can instantly follow a double bomb, but it's level 6 for Mikyz. Crucially, lockup is there. Razork instantly going to ult. Yike trying to get a bit more space to flash out to safety, keeping him standing. Humanoid does use ulti. It's only going to connect onto 1, but that is 5 extra stacks. Canna going for the all-in, or at the very least, a chunk onto Oscarinin.
You do get a huge amount out from Fnatic, though. That's 3 ultimates down, and they just secure their own blue buff. So for KC, yeah, you have to burn the flash and the heal from Targamas, but I think you actually open yourself up to now potentially making plays on this map with those ultimates not available anymore.
The problem, though, is that Targamas is still level 5, so they're still losing on bot. Mid lane wants to recall. They might even... Nah, they can't dive again. Unless...
Sure about that?
Mikyz,
they're gonna try.
Flash in, dashing back.
They get the TP, though. This is great for Humanoid. Feels terrible for Vladi.
It's rough. And this is big for Humanoid, right? This is the A-Sol champion that we really haven't seen in the LEC. Obviously played by APA, played by Chovy. Need to see what he is able to do on it, because also going up against Vladi on Viktor is a tall task, right? This is a guy who, even against G2, I think was putting up some pretty solid numbers. And someone that... I didn't know what the numbers were before I ran that graphic. I just knew that they were good. Solid is the wrong word. Disgusting numbers versus G2. And so this is always going to be for KC, this kind of late game insurance policy. Vladi, one of the few players in our league who, after that initial set of Viktor nerfs, was still able to really make this champion work.
Yeah, and I think he, as you say, has looked great on it. And you get the sidesteps have been crucial to how he plays out these team fights, but bot side?
Targamas flashing in.
Ulti coming down, still able to find the lockup. Double stun now coming in, but it's a double TP to respond. All on bottom. What year is it? Double TP bot lane for Fnatic, looking like 2018, but 2018 was a damn good year. Finding the turn. Double kill for Humanoid.
Avengers assemble on the bottom lane. There's a Comet, there's a Monkey, there's all the Fastions going everywhere, and there's nothing that KC can do. Fnatic 5-0 in this crucial game.
And it's a disaster for KC. As you see, they really want to make this play happen. They have the Pantheon ulti, but they forgot about the TPs. Due to the fact that Vladi TP'd down earlier, and Canna has no TP, Fnatic can both TP in with no response and pick up 2 free kills.
And gifting them across as well to the carries. Humanoid picks up 1, picks up 2. This Sol now accelerated to a position where he's going to be significantly more of a threat, and this is the problem. KC, like Yike, kind of wants to get these successful early ganks off with the ultimate. He's not finding them. This bot lane is completely falling apart. And we said KC's composition doesn't really have ways to keep Fnatic at bay, and they're not going to stop.
Oh,
Humanoid chasing, has the empowered ulti. We'll get some damage down onto Vladi. Was a flash, but now the objective likely to fall here. Yike will grab that one right under their noses, but it's going to be traded back for another objective on the opposite side. 3 grubs to 3, 1 Drake to 1. The next objective, give either side the first feed, but Tower, see who's able to grab that one to close it out.
Humanoid is moving down to protect this bottom side, but there are actually a lot of members of KC here. I don't know if they've realized that Fnatic have reset, but Humanoid going to just clear out the wave, so they're not going to be able to try and go for the play there.
The problem is Zeri just, I mean, she has a slingshot on Berserker Greaves. I think she's not doing nearly enough damage to take anyone down right now.
She's got a cull as well.
She's got a cull as well, that's true.
Slingshot versus a dragon, it feels very biblical, you know?
Yeah.
Just got to take them down.
But it's like Celestial Being versus Sundered Sky, you know? I feel like there's
that's true. Here, you know? To be fair, the nice thing for KC is that they're able to stop the Drake stacking from Fnatic. So they're able to buy themselves quite a bit more time now in this Sol win con that Fnatic could be setting up for.
I think the struggle is with Fnatic building this kind of lead, getting better vision control down. It'll be really tough for KC to approach. They don't have the luxury of a traditional tanky support to face check every brush. They're going to be reliant on Yike and getting prio in lanes to really help them fight or secure any of these objectives, but Fnatic can always just be lingering in the dark.
But I think there's a real win con for KC in the side lanes here with this Gnar pick. He's already gotten 3 plates, and it's only going to get worse and worse for the Ornn. It should be a good pressure point for them. Now we have a kind of a fight over red buff here.
Again, Fnatic forward, never backward. Not willing to give anything up here on the bottom side as Vladi and Targamas moving down, but Humanoid already there. Ulti up.
Yeah, he might look to dive top lane here, actually. Oscarinin is very low on this top side, and Pantheon has ulti soon.
Canna going for the push back to the wall, managed to connect, and just as you said, I didn't even think Yike was needed.
Oscarinin ended up using the Bellows Breath to try and clear the wave, so Canna was like, great, you're walking up from underneath the tower, I'll just ult you into the wall and murder you.
Yeah, that's a beautiful crossmap for KC here. They actually are able to get some gold injected into this Gnar, and you can see this gold lead is now grown to 1.2k. It's the biggest gold lead in the game. I think this Gnar will be a real menace in side lane, especially because this Aurelion Sol would never really win 1v1 against the Gnar either. So he'll be able to win both sides and actually have real pressure for KC to play through.
And Canna, game 1, was incredibly clutch on the Cassante. Now set up to do the same thing again here, despite Fnatic being the ones on red side. The early Gnar pick, not countered, not something that Fnatic wanted to invest in. Instead, going for something stable, something reliable like the Ornn, but you can see that it's just suffering so much in the 1v1. Upset now matched up against the Gnar.
Yeah, Canna just trying to escape away from here. Knows that if Upset's there, the rest of Fnatic are likely to follow very soon. Mikyz going to try and establish some vision in towards this top side and give them a bit of protection. But again, Yike going to be able to stick around here. Still is his blue, still is his wolves, so can always move back up to contest the Rift Tower that's in about 50 seconds as Fnatic want to get the blue.
Targamas just threatening with bombs, but really can't walk up. This is a tough game for the Zilean. Needs to find somewhere where he can pop some of these stacks to get closer to his support item completion.
I like how KC are moving Vladi around the map though. They're constantly putting him in the lane against Upset and he just insta-clears the wave. He doesn't even care about anything else, and it's making it very difficult for Fnatic to play through the strength of Upset. At least now, and you can see you're getting options on the opposite side for Fnatic to take towers, but Humanoid trying to now shift himself up towards top side, as that's the matchup Fnatic wants, Humanoid versus Vladi.
Discipline in the lane assignments to stop Upset from taking over, but not able to free Oscarinin from the lane of torment that is matching up against Canna right now as he gets closer to what I assume will be Black Cleaver second. So if Oscar had any hope, it'll dwindle pretty quickly after that second item completion. Can obviously look to outvalue him in the fights, but we're just not at that stage of the game yet. Again, 1-1 in defeats overall. Next objective, this Herald will decide who gets defeats, and it looks like the answer is Fnatic.
Yeah, so it is going to be the free Herald here for Fnatic. Makes sense, the enemy bot lane is just a bit too weak to really contest it. I'm curious if they'll be able to break this mid tower. It looks quite chunked, so they'll probably be able to use the Herald to break it. And with that, they might be able to alleviate some of this pressure Oscarinin is facing, as they can always then push mid and move into the side Oscarinin is on.
Let's moving in though, we'll get a bit of tower damage down. Fnatic very willing to just give up large chunks of HP on their mid lane tower for these resets.
Well, this might get the full tower here.
He's gonna chase him out.
Nearly gets it. This is really nice for KC, being able to kind of sneak this, as Humanoid and Upset misplayed their reset timers there a little bit.
Yeah, I think you're in a position now as KC to try and play for either mid turret and counteract what is going to be the inevitable mid lane Rift Herald from Razork as this dragon starts to spawn, but actually just going to immediately move over towards that. So still Fnatic trying to play off of that mid pressure, but Yike now moving. I think they just play for mid turret.
I think Yike is going to play for top dive here. He has the ulti. Mikyz actually covering it quite nicely though, but Targamas can move up as well. I think they might be able to one-shot Humanoid, or at least they can try to hit tower. Oh, they're even keeping it with Gnar.
He's just going to ult the wave immediately, bringing them back to the center. Mikyz threatening, forcing Vladi to flash out, and the wave now gone as uninvited Krug wanders into that one.
This is Aurelion Sol's specialty. He has such brilliant wave clear and such brilliant tower defense, and he just sees you and slows you under the tower.
And that's why I thought we'd see them go for that mid lane play as KC. Like, actually try and get that mid lane structure down, and then you can always gain access to that top side and look for the structure. But instead, they try to play on towards Humanoid, and he just immediately clears out the wave.
I mean, the problem with trying to clear and go mid as well is you're up against a Xayah with all sums and incredible wave clear as well. So it's really two losing options for KC.
Yeah, it's just as they saw Mikyz and Upset moving towards River to help out Razork, I thought they might have been able to zone them off, but here we go.
Mikyz finding the initial lockup there. Now force
the Zilean
ult and make his way out to... I mean, the Zilean ult's going to fade away here. A bit awkward. No follow-up damage as the feathers are on the wrong side of the tower, but...
Razork does still have the Herald if he wants to pop it here, but Mikyz ends up going for the base. This might just be nothing.
I do think while the gold is close, again, Canna feels really like the most important point on the map, while KC just play tower defense, both control mages in so many circumstances trying to clear the wave, but they lack that proactive engage. Falling behind here is really, really tough. Fnatic are pretty much just free to roam the map and do whatever they want. There's no immediate punish anytime Fnatic try to start a play. I mean, you saw Rakan lived under that tier 1 tower for like 20 seconds before it was time to leave.
Yeah, and this I feel like plays so well into Miky's specialty. He's so good at being annoying, going for deep vision, and just, you know, doing crazy things. Rakan really allows him to do that, as he can just be wherever he wants to be, and he has so much mobility that he can always get out.
I think it's sick to see the symbiotic souls here from Mikyz as well.
Yeah.
The ability to now very quickly move through the enemy jungle, rotate around the map, makes him even more of a nuisance, as Jack was already saying. Like, Upset controls mid-push, which just opens up Mikyz to move so quickly around the map, so it's making it difficult for KC to even hold on to their own jungle right now.
Yeah, and I think the big question that I have in my mind, if we make it past this game, if Fnatic are able to bring us to a game 4, is this support pool is getting smaller and smaller. We're approaching the point where you're just going to have to play a ranged champion. We can see this game not going super hot for Targamas. And a battle of ranged supports, not where I wanted to be in this 1v1 matchup, but it's starting to feel pretty inevitable.
And if anyone looks at Mikyx's solo queue, you know he's got some funky support picks in there.
That's true.
So I'm kind of hoping we get to see a little bit more from him, but Oscarinin going to clear at the top wave.
Name of the game for Fnatic off to the side is wave clear. It's a nice dash back. We'll take Oscarinin for a second, but Pantheon is so damn fast moving in. Oscarinin should just fall here. Nice pick on the side lane. Humanoid trying to respond in the meantime. Herald used mid. And Humanoid uncontested in bot, but Fnatic looking to respond on top lane.
And it's such a good cross map for KC here, but Fnatic might be able to find something actually.
To be careful. Initial miss. Wall up there. Razork likely to get locked up. Flash in from Mikyz. Multiple members CC'd. Finally, the grand entrance comes in. Upset following, trying to get the damage down. Nice block timing going in. Humanoid is here. Razork is here. Stars raining down. Resurrection coming in. KC, can they get anything back? Because Caliste is also in the area. Vladi getting a decent amount of damage. Humanoid chasing a little bit too far. Caliste taking a lot of damage back. Humanoid likely to fall. Mikyz probably going to fall as well. Caliste can just take over the fight. But Razork is chasing. The range still there. Caliste trying to hold on the flash away. He's so fast. Get away from the monkey, but he can't do it. Targamas now running in the end. Fnatic find the fight.
The collapse was great from Fnatic. KC tried to battle their way out of it, but again, you just have no way to stop the onslaught from Fnatic. Canna missing the ultimate at the start of this was a bit of an upsie, and then watch Mikyz goes immediately on towards Canna, charms up Yike, jumps on towards Vladi, which then sets up for upset to move on through, but the ultimate connecting onto Vladi, thanks to Razork. You do get the ultimate from the Zilean to keep him alive a little bit longer, but he's just popping up in the middle of so many Fnatic members, and Humanoid ends up jumping over the wall. Does regret it a little bit.
You can see the Zeri damage here. It's just lacking, because normally when Humanoid does that, you'd expect he just dies, but the Zeri damage is so low that it takes 10 years to finally kill this Aurelion Sol. On the bright side of K-Corp though, that was an 800 gold shutdown that Caliste got. But Fnatic just got the Dagda.
Well, 800 gold we'll see, because as you said, the Zeri did very little damage. But at the 2-3 item Zeri, as she now has crested the 2 item point, might be enough if that circumstance presents itself again. But now you've got, 5 false life buffs. So they might have to wait at least a few more minutes before the opportunity is there. Oscarinin calling the Ornn horn. Yike gonna get knocked up. Double bomb not quite gonna hit as Yike starts to run. Slowed up, locked down. Caliste off to the side. Ulti there. Does good damage onto upset, but the Feathers manage to come back. Flies back into the air. Caught interrupted for a brief moment. It's not enough to wall. Managing to side them. Upset still there. Ticking, but it's just a false life. Just extra money for KC. Fnatic not getting very much done at all. The tower still standing as all of Fnatic are just sent packing.
They don't manage to get the structure, barely. Mikyz, they just want to go in.
Going over. Ulti there trying to lock up Targamas, but they just get infinitely stunned. Canna hits him with the boomerang. Oh, it's a catastrophe. They get the tower at least in a couple stacks. Oh, they just threw money at KC.
Surely that was good for KC, right?
1,000 gold. Surely.
That was good for KC, like money-wise.
Yeah.
So we need a calculator, I think.
Well, yeah.
But it is going to be the Drake for Fnatic due to the tempo gained from Datakan. So that's a nice little redemption prize.
Yeah.
After all that. And it is still firmly Fnatic in control of this game. But as you said, Drakos, they only know one way, and that's forward.
Yeah, they went forward. Look, they try and go in onto this, and I think it's a nice play from Upset here and Razork, right, to keep Upset topped up for a little bit longer so they can deal with Canna. But you're still only 3 members. You have the push in mid. You've no TP for your Aurelion Sol, so this is always going to end poorly. But nice job here by Razork to keep Canna topped up. And Mikyz kind of just being a nuisance off to the side, trying to put pressure on. But Caliste knows he can just go forward. There's not really enough left in the tank for Fnatic to follow up. And then they decide they want to go again. But a good double stun coming through from Targamas sets up nicely.
And to another stun from Vladi, but Humanoid was mid with Canna. He could have just canceled the Gnar TP with ulti. Instead, wanted to stick around.
Humanoid?
Caliste caught for a second here. Razork trying to follow. Good damage is going to get one shot. They at least managed to get the buff out from the Zilean, but now Razork is caught in the back line, and this is where it starts to get hard. Viktor finding the reset. Yike running, got a little bit of space for the front line. Eyes on Canna. Can he find the angle to the back line? For now, the answer is no, because Vladi's trying to 1v1 upset, and so far the 1v1's going damn well. Viktor, good damage, manages to find the kill. Looking to find a few more in the meantime as Humanoid finally starting to fly from the sky. Gets the reset, has the ulti ready to go. The sky's descending, but Caliste still escaping. Blast cone there. Humanoid can just ult for the slow, but wants to maybe save it for the next fight. Doesn't need to use it here.
40 seconds, so they just want to try and chase him down. They should be able to get it. There's the slow.
Dashing, chasing, yeah, I can fly at him. There you go. Humanoid now on a rampage. 8-1-3. The Azir looking pretty damn good.
Caliste also dies so late that now he's not going to be available for the Baron, but we'll hop on into this replay.
Yeah, I mean, here, this fight from KC is actually really well played. Caliste buys so much space here, and it makes Oscarinin think, okay, Caliste has no E, I want to engage. Razork tries to follow, but Zilean has the ulti, so that's up Razork being down. But Yike at the same time is too deep in enemy lines, so he ends up falling as well. But then is the Vladi show. As he 1v2s, Upset and Mikyz here, flashes the Rakan W, but now we got a Nash start.
Every time we come out of a replay, Fnatic are taking a major objective. We'll see if they're able to get this one. Yike trying to work his way in. This is the hard part for KC. Fnatic, though, conceding so much space. Eyes set on the objective. Upset off to the side. They want to kill Canna. Ulti now being used to zone. Massive slow. Humanoid unstoppable. And that probably spells the end of the fight. Fnatic a bit split on the call. Will turn back to Baron.
They have Caliste on the way, though, so how brave are KC feeling? They want to try and turn this. Ultimate's just half. Just look for Vladi.
8K.
Going down fast.
Vladi ult could do a lot of work. Razork going in, Ornn going in, only going to find one. Mikyz going for the immediate fall if they want to take the jungler out of the equation. Mikyz now chasing, trying to find it, but they're just too damn fast. He's forced to flash out and trying to take out Targamas. Targamas forced to self-ult, but Upset cannot get in range, and Caliste is unleashed. There's nothing left to take him down. He can start the chase. The movement speed is there. Upset trying to turn back. Maybe a desperate moment. Still fast, but can't quite chase them away. But the Baron denied. The Baron stopped.
Fnatic had a split call in the engage. Oscarinin went for the clump who were trying to escape upriver, whereas when you look at Mikyz and Upset, they were turning on towards Vladi. Keep your eyes here as you get disengaged from Oscarinin this way, but you have a completely different play going up. Actually, this is not the right vibe, but it's the follow-up one. But this is where you're looking at as they chase them out. Yes, they get the pick, but it's the second part of this fight where it starts to get more interesting because Vladi's sitting in the buff.
Draw the line again.
Vladi goes in here as the engage comes down here from Oscarinin. So watch where Vladi's position. He's keeping Upset out. That's where Humanoid and Upset are looking, but he just gets to fight away, and that's where Humanoid gets completely taken out of the equation. Now it's just to try and focus on Upset, and Vladi's just reeling through this front line.
Man, Vladi, even in this game, when things look lost for KC, he is putting in so much work in these team fights, and that was up against a 10-1 Aurelion Sol that he zoned out both carries.
He's
what a
dealt
masterclass.
more damage. I mean, to be fair, it's easier for Viktor to just get that free poke, but
that's still pretty crazy.
It's still pretty crazy. And I think the thing is I mean, Viktor is so terrifying as we get to these late stage points of the game because Upset's comparatively low range, right? If he has to walk forward, get Q auto-E'd, he's probably dead. But can't really afford to delay major item spikes. Does have Lord Dominix. We'll see what the next option is. Maybe it's just something defensive. Maybe it's just a Maw to stop Vladi from being able to take these 1v1s.
I just don't know what you're supposed to do. Every single time we get this Viktor for Vladi, he is popped off. And Fnatic,
I feel like he's popping off on everything.
That is very true. Yeah. But it's kind of these like one or two mistakes from Fnatic though that are constantly plaguing them, right? They get off to a great start. It looks like Fnatic have it. You've a 10-1 Aurelion Sol, and you are struggling to close out this game. It doesn't feel like they understand how to play through their strengths, and KC, just good foundational League of Legends, coming back to it. I mean, you love the foundational lies.
I do love the foundational lies, so let's see how they can foundationalize this Drake fight, as this is Sol for Fnatic here, in case he wants to try to enter.
Marking Canna big as he just tries to stack up Mega. If you can get him to burn that, walk away, and reset the fight, odds certainly even better in your favor. But Canna just on the edge.
It's going to be Upset just starting the Drake here. They're taking this very fast.
Ornn going in, Pantheon trying to get to the pit, Oscar starting to walk away, split fight as Mikyz tries to zone away the entire team, but Yike gets a bit more space, Dragon already down and Mikyz still standing, that's crucial. Ulti goes in from Humanoid, does not connect. But they get the Drake, they got what they came for, that's Sol for the side of Fnatic.
And that just spells disaster for K-Corp as they get the Sol onto Fnatic, and now it's going to be so much harder for either Vladi or Caliste to be carrying these fights like they have been.
And the Baron is there. Fnatic can just immediately transition over to that. They're coming back out of the base. Rabadon's death cap not quite completed for Humanoid just yet, but still, KC, wait, do they get Razork?
Canna chasing. Can't chase too far, however. And this is, again, the struggle. The lack of hard CC makes it so hard for them to approach in these fights.
Fnatic are very split here. Canna might be able to zone Razork more.
Humanoid just spitting on it over the wall. Vladi, can he just try and go for the ulti? Low health bar. They do manage to get the Baron. Now they can turn and try to force the fight. The Razork is just getting chunked out. They're about to lose their jungler here. Caliste getting one. Ready to reset. Ready to keep going. Slow's going down. Upset has to be careful. They have to retreat. Oscarinin running. Viktor not going to hit. Canna goes in! Finds two off to the side, but the rest of KC are still divided. Retreat's now coming out. Humanoid might be able to find the reset. Flying over the wall. Godlike now. But Yike is just going to hit him. Knock him straight out of the sky. The battle of Mara Targon going very much in the favor of this Pantheon Humanoid. That is not where he wanted to be. Big shutdown. And the blinking health bars on KC do not matter. They still managed to find that kill.
Fnatic lose two. They do get the Baron though, but it's going to be very delayed on them getting out of the base with Humanoid going down so late. But you can see as we start to get into this, Canna threatening Razork and Humanoid, hoping that maybe he can keep him out of the pit, but Humanoid able to zone him away. On the other side of the fight, Razork goes in onto the backside, but Upset just can't really get into position to do the damage.
And you can see the power of the Zeri Zilean here as Caliste is so damn fast, just running down Fnatic. He's just barely not able to finish up Upset, which would have maybe spelled a completely different fight for Fnatic, as Rakan also wouldn't have been able to E away, and they could have all died.
And just awkward for Humanoid because he starts the flight thinking he's not going to finish the kill, but then he starts it after the kill has gone through, so he doesn't have the reset.
Yeah.
So he can't just immediately stop and fly the other way.
Giggles from Canna on the screen as KC, they will end up losing, are getting 2 of the Barons off of Fnatic, but that does not mean you're out of the woods yet. Fnatic going to start pushing in this top side. Canna has pushed out that mid wave, so it's hyper focus from Fnatic on the top side of the map.
Yeah, a bit strange here that they're trying to only play one lane with this Nash. It's going to mean that they'll probably get this tier 2, but they won't be able to get anything more with it. And they also can't threaten the tier 2 mid either, so they'll just have to base and then try to reset up the map mid and bot.
And it's 3 minutes until Elder, 4 until the next spawn of Baron. Game likely not ending until that point. Probably will just come down to this Elder fight. And you mentioned it before, 3 items now for Caliste, right? He is still a strong point. Vladi's still powerful, while the gold lead belongs to Fnatic. The Sol as well. Still have to give respect to the carry duo on the side of KC, and still the potential Gnar angle, right? Canna's lane phase dominant. We really haven't seen that big Gnar team fight quite yet. Some of that is just because of the lack of setup on KC, but if he finds an angle, he can still be the difference maker in these fights.
This Fnatic were the ones that had that CC, and they, in theory, should be able to choose their fights. Just hasn't been going their way, and once all of that initial upfront CC is used, that's when Caliste has been able to come alive. So Fnatic, they really need to land that knockout punch, or KC can start to bring it back. And as you say, it's going to be a case of pushing in these waves for Fnatic, trying to keep KC in their own base so they can't get access to that Elder Dragon that's in 2 minutes time. I don't think they can really crack the base. They don't really have the range for that, but just keep KC away from their own jungle.
And it's a bit awkward for Fnatic here, because ideally you'd want to choke KC out of their own jungle by pushing both mid and bot.
Guys, why does Mikyz have Mikyz?
He's a chat. By the way, have you ever seen that upgraded boot icon? The Symbiotic Soul upgrade? I've never seen that before.
I don't think it's
I played 100 plus games.
Only people who build it are supports, and they're broke. Like, they can't afford 750 gold.
Which is why you go for Mikyz, because it's cheap.
What? That's a distribution of resources. Like, take it up with Riot, bro. It's like, I don't have any control of how much money supports get in game.
They should get less.
No, don't do that. You weren't even like alive in the meta where supports only bought wards.
I was. I started in Season 2 when I was 9 years old.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
That's not fun.
Oh, that feels bad. Oh, that's a big coming to terms with reality moment for me and Rob here. Okay. Well, can you tell me what Anivia does?
Of course.
Okay, well then, all right. Just trying to understand. For players that started it at your age, you know, what's the knowledge pool like? It's still good. At this point,
I have more knowledge than you.
Well, I meant like from historical things.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, never mind. This isn't about you. It's not my time to roast you. People will hear that many other times. Fnatic, big gold lead. And reminder, Ornn giving out items, about 1,000 gold per upgrade. So
LDR for Caliste here. That's huge. Should allow him to play a lot more aggressive in these team fights and finally actually take down this Fnatic front line.
It's still so tough, right? 391 stacks on this Aurelion Sol. The E is going to be absolutely massive. You have the ult D2 on top of that, which is going to be the slow. Caliste does have the cleanse for that slow. Targamas has the reset.
And it's a 4k gold lead, but nearly 3,000 of that is on the support. So it's pretty much an even game.
That's a really good point.
I love what Canna's doing at the moment, though. He's constantly playing on the side and being a ward to spot out if Fnatic are going for some sort of flank angle, because Razork's not spotted. They didn't really know where Mikyz was, and it's just constantly trying to keep his carry safe. Once more now in a position, trying to figure out where Fnatic are coming from.
You can see Vladi and Caliste playing so far up, using that movement speed steroid from Targamas. The second Fnatic split up at all, they just start to get aggressive. Nice catch onto Caliste, though. Knock up there as well. Yes, he's going to get the reset, but Mikyz ready to fall off immediately. Charmed right as he respawns. He's got nowhere left to go. The kill is there. Yike finally coming in. He's going down from the sky. Canna needs to make the difference. But the ulti angle is just not going to be enough managed to push 3 back, but he will get locked up. Taken down. Steric's not nearly enough as Humanoid is on the chase.
And that looks like it's going to be all she wrote, as Fnatic will be pushing down mid lane here. A big mistake from Caliste. He gets caught out despite the Zilean ult. It's not enough, and Fnatic are pushing down.
And that was the pressure on them, right? All it took was one mistake. Fnatic were so far ahead. Fnatic, disastrous first 2 games, but bringing it back with confidence in this game 3. In the bot lane, they made the difference in the team fights. They came in clutch, outplaying KC and bringing us to a game 4.
It was a hard-fought game for Fnatic, though. They have to
score a little close, but it was
not. There was so much they had to do, but I want to hear from Sjokz as she's going to interview Mikyz to find out what's happening in the Fnatic camp.
Yeah, exclusive insight here at the sidelines. Mikyz, finally the win. It was so hard fought. I don't know if I should ask what finally went right or what has been going wrong so far.
Well, I guess I just have to buy Mikyz and like get some kills early on. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely a very drawn out game. They had decent scaling, but we also just took it very slow. And yeah, let's see how the next game goes.
Yeah, who's gonna win the crazy support battle that's about to ensue now that you have to take really big risks in terms of the picks?
Yeah, I'm really not sure what the draft is gonna bring. Like even this one was a bit weird, so next one is gonna be for sure wild. Also, before this the third game, I asked Yike if he ever got reverse whipped, and maybe he might experience it today.
Oh, he's starting to all chat. That's what happened. You can join your team, Mikyz. Thank you so much, and or you can stay here. That's fine too. But we're gonna go to a break. We'll be right back.
What an incredible play there from...
Oh, that was incredible. You love to see it.
Right, yeah, let's really
What
get into...
a move! He's just so good. I mean, the persistence, the patience to find the angle. You just don't see that from rookies. He's got it all. He's got the pizzazz.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
Ooh, that looks good. Do you want to maybe share a little bit? Yeah.
What a move.
Red Bull gives you wings.